What did you do last summer? Have you told your adventures to your friends? How do you do that? To answer all those questions, you have to organize your ideas. There are certain elements that help us explain them more clearly and in a logical sequence. Those elements are called sequence connectors. Sequence connectors are used to link opinion from one sentence to the next and to give paragraph coherence. Definition: the sequence connectors are the words in the English language that are used to connect views, ideas from one sentence to another sentence, and are used to provide paragraph attachment. Also, it connects the linking words, some conjunctions which are related to the sequence connectors.
There are a few sequence connectors that can be used. First, use it to introduce the first of a sequence. For example, we have firstly, first of all, in the first place, to start with, to begin, and for a start. Next, we have second. Use it to introduce the next action or concept. For example, we have secondly, next, then, as soon as, later, after, meanwhile, subsequently, at this point, in short, furthermore, in addition. And lastly is finally. Use it to demonstrate the last action or concept. For example, we have lastly, last but not least, to conclude, at the end, subsequently, to summarize, and eventually. This is an example of how to use sequence connectors. How to use washing machine. First, sort out the clothes colored from white. Next, lift up the lid of machine and put in clothes to wash. After that, put detergent in the drawer. Then, turn to program required. Finally, press the on button to start the washing. There you have it. Sequence connector in order.
So, let's try a few questions. My sister was in the dentist's office for 10 minutes. I sat in the waiting room with an old magazine in my hands. First, meanwhile, later. The answer is meanwhile. My sister was in the dentist's office for 10 minutes. Meanwhile, I sat in the waiting room with an old magazine in my hands. Next, an hour passed, but there was no sign of mine. We decided to go home. Until, before, finally. The answer is finally. An hour passed, but there was no sign of mine. Finally, we decided to go home. It demonstrates the last section of this sentence. And the last question is, we bumped into Salsa during our trip to Land Iceland. A few weeks, we met him again. After, then, later. And the answer is later. We bumped into Salsa during our trip to Land Iceland. A few weeks later, we met him again.